had this Triumph T100 for nearly a month now, so I'm going to give you my final thoughts before it goes back on what this bike is like. A couple of days ago I rode the T100 from here in Wales across the border into England to Birmingham in about a 3-hour ride, and in that journey I pretty much encountered everything you're likely to on a motorcycle. From farm tracks, little narrow country lanes, villages, towns, dual carriageways, all the way to the motorways, and then really highly congested motorways with slow moving traffic. So I can tell you now how the bike performs in all those different conditions. I would say that this is the Goldilocks bike, if you like. Now what I mean by that is that it's just right. It's not too powerful and it's not low powered. It's just right. It's not too fast, but it's not slow. It's just right. And in pretty much every aspect you can think of, it's just right. And I think the 900cc Bonneville engine for me is the better one in terms of everyday riding. I think it's a great bike. I wasn't wanting for more power or speed on the motorway. At 70 miles per hour it rides beautifully, and there's plenty more on tap, and it has 5 gears, but I found the 5th gear was perfectly good at 70 miles per hour, and at 55, 60, just cruising along, taking your time. It's a lovely bike to ride. As I said in my review of this bike, it makes a perfect country lane bike, back road bike, brilliant in the cities, in the traffic, does everything, commuting. But one thing that I noticed as I came into Birmingham, I mean the volume of traffic, I'm not used to it because living here in the countryside, a busy road is when you have a flock of sheep on it. So just endless cars for 20 miles of very slow moving traffic. This was brilliant at filtering through because it's not too wide, the handlebars aren't that wide, and lane filtering or splitting lanes was easy peasy. So it was very good for that, and it's not snatchy as well, so it's very easy to ride in those conditions. The only thing I must say, with all my gear on and a rain suit, I literally could only see probably not even a fifth of the road behind me in the mirrors. So in some situations that was dangerous because you want to see what's coming behind you, of course, especially when you're filtering and changing lanes. So these mirrors are inadequate for me anyway. I know I'm quite tall and I've been to the gym a couple of times. So if you were narrower than me, you'd probably be all right, or shorter. But where I'm sitting, I can't see the road behind me, so that would have to be changed, but you can change it, of course. I haven't cleaned the bike purposely just to analyse how good or bad it is after riding in the mucky conditions. Most of the journey that I did the other day was in the dry. Some of the roads were wet, but coming back it was raining lightly, and it was dark as well. So looking at the bike, on this, the front mudguard, it's not as small as some. Now at the motorcycle show, a lot of motorcycles, their front mudguard literally is no longer than that. I mean, I'm talking like 7 inches. I mean, totally useless. This isn't too bad, but it doesn't come down low enough. And as you can see here, from there, a third of the radiator is absolutely thick with mud. Underneath is thick with filth and mud. And here, a little bit on the top of the tank there. And the exhaust pipe and all this bit's mucky. So, and the seat here, there's a lot of muck thrown up from behind. So really the rear mudguard needs to come down a little bit more, perhaps a little wider. And again, like I've said thousands of times now, the front mudguard should be the classic mudguard from the 60s that worked and looked beautiful too. So from that point of view, when you get back after a ride, you've got a lot of cleaning to do. I must say, when you're riding the bike, looking forward, you've got these two stunning analogue gauges, the speed and the revs. Absolutely beautiful, and lovely chrome handlebars. The whole thing looks high quality. In your peripheral vision you see a bit of the tank and that lovely fuel filler cap. It's a very classy machine to ride, and it's just so nice to have a bike that looks nice, and this really does win on the looks front. I've often moaned in my Triumph reviews that the USB charger is under the seat, but in practice, the first time to be honest I've actually used it, I wired up my sat-nav to the handlebars with the wire coming under the seat, just under the tank to the handlebars. It was fine, it worked perfectly well. It would of course be better if that was on the handlebars, but it does work. Like most modern classic or classic bikes, this has the conventional forks, and I often complain about upside down forks, and I'll tell you the reason why. Two reasons. One, of course, the gold anodizing, which is hopeless, but this doesn't have that, of course. The second thing, and why I don't like gold anodizing, because it doesn't match the paint scheme of any of the bikes they put it on. But with these, you see, you get about half the shock is this bit, and the other half is that bit, and it's balanced. When you have upside down forks on a normal bike like one of these, this fat bit is at the top, but it comes down to about there, and then you've got this tiny little bit of that bit at the bottom, and it just looks unbalanced. On a motocross bike, that looks perfectly fine because it's almost 50-50. But on road bikes, normal bikes with only sort of 2, 3, 4 inches max of suspension travel, it looks unbalanced to me. If you're looking for one of these sorts of bikes, then the 900 Bonneville has got more oomph than the Royal Enfields. It's got more torque lower down in the rev range than the Moto Guzzi's. So really, it's a very cool, very beautiful, classic looking motorcycle with everything you could imagine to bring it up to date in the 21st century. Are we the 21st century? I wouldn't hesitate in buying one. So if you're thinking about it, rest assured that it's a wonderful motorcycle and you won't be disappointed. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm off to have a nice hot cup of tea in front of the fire because it's absolutely freezing. See you on the next one.